At Cognassist, we recognise that not all barriers to learning are identified through our cognitive assessment. Many learners arrive with existing support needs identified through external sources, such as EHCPs, prior clinical diagnoses, or personal declarations. With this update, we are extending Cognassist's capability to support these learners by allowing tutors to record additional barriers to learning directly within the tutor report. From this starting point, the platform can then recommend relevant, reasonable adjustments to ensure each learner receives the right level of support. We will now walk through how this works in practice. This workflow begins at the learner list, where we will start the process of providing support to learners with additional barriers to learning. For this demonstration, we will look at Amaka's profile and open her tutor report. Those familiar with our interface will notice a new layout for the tutor report. On the right-hand side, we have introduced a contents section to make it easier to navigate through the different parts of the report. We have also added a new introduction section. This section confirms that the learner has completed their assessment and explains that you can capture any additional known barriers to learning here. This is the core feature we will walk through. By selecting the next button, you are taken to the new previously known learning barriers page. Here, you can select any relevant barriers for your learner in Cognassist. You have access to a full list of barriers grouped by neurodiversity, mental and emotional health, behavioural and social factors, and other specific needs. When you are reviewing results or preparing for a needs assessment, you may already be aware of barriers that the learner has shared or that were documented in an EHCP. You can select these known barriers in this dedicated space. As we move through the report, the system will generate recommended adjustments that are directly linked to those barriers. In Amaka's case, she has a previous diagnosis of autism and ADHD. We will select those options and then save and proceed. We can now review Amaka's cognitive assessment results. This view contains the familiar data on indexes, domain scores, relative strengths, and speed of working. If you decide that certain sections are not relevant to share with the learner, you can toggle their visibility in presentation mode using the eye icon, which is now conveniently located in the Contents menu. As you move through the results, you will reach the Reasonable Adjustments page. This is where the platform displays the recommended adjustments for the ADHD and autism barriers selected for Amaka. To view these recommendations, click the All Adjustments tab. If you scroll down, you will see a specific set of linked adjustments for ADHD and autism. By expanding one of these adjustments, you will find the same level of detail provided for cognitive domain adjustments. Each entry includes a description, a practical example, and a clear explanation of why the strategy works, which aligns with the Ofsted 3 Eyes framework. This ensures a consistent standard for all adjustments, whether they are linked to an additional barrier or an identified domain from the cognitive assessment. To make things easier to read and organise, we have added a tag to each adjustment to show the linked barrier. For example, providing checklists for tasks relates to the executive function domain identified in the assessment, while allowing supervised rest breaks links directly to the ADHD barrier defined on the Known Barriers page. You can review these adjustments before meeting with the learner. If you decide that rest breaks are a suitable support for Amaka, you can click the Assign button. Returning to the For Amaka tab, you will see this is now part of her active plan. The plan now contains 2 domain-related adjustments and 1 linked to ADHD. While this preparation happens ahead of the learner meeting, we know that the needs assessment conversation often brings up new information. The initial selections may need to be updated. You can select different adjustments after speaking with the learner, which we will demonstrate now. Once you are ready to conduct the needs assessment, you can enter presentation mode. This is where you guide the learner through their results and discuss any additional known barriers. When you click Get Started, the Known Barriers section is shown. If no previously known barriers were selected during the initial review, the system will ask the learner if they would like to declare any barriers. This supports progressive disclosure, as some learners may not feel comfortable sharing this information until they are further along in their course. In a marker's case, the autism and ADHD selections are already showing. If a marker identifies additional barriers, you can click the Update button to adjust the record. By clicking the Next button, you can then walk the learner through their cognitive results, following the standard presentation mode workflow. From there, you can navigate to the Adjustments section. The pre-assigned adjustments are listed, and you can discuss these with the learner to confirm they are the most effective options. If the learner identifies other strategies as more relevant, for example, the use of fidget toys, you can assign them straight away to update the plan. Once the presentation is finished and you complete the session, you can download the tutor report. All selected adjustments, including those for autism or ADHD, are included in the export, alongside those linked to cognitive domains. The data flows seamlessly from the tutor report to presentation mode, and then into the PDF export. This update is a significant step in our commitment to extending Cognassist's capability to support all learners, regardless of their specific barriers. Another key feature of this update is the ability to support learners who have not taken the assessment. If a learner cannot complete the assessment but still needs support, you can still record known barriers for them. Consider Andy Lee as an example. Andy has not completed the cognitive assessment, but by accessing his report space, we can still select previously known learning barriers. For Andy, we can identify dyslexia and save that information. When you reach the Reasonable Adjustments section for Andy, the All Adjustments tab allows you to assign adjustments based on that declared learning need. The same level of detail is still available, and if course details are provided, the adjustments can be further tailored. For instance, if you assign extra time for reading and writing, it becomes a documented part of Andy's support plan. Although you cannot review cognitive results in this scenario, you can still run a structured meeting. This allows you to ask the learner if they wish to declare any barriers, update the record, and work through the adjustments together. By making these changes, we are extending Cognassist's reach, ensuring that tutors can provide strong support to all learners, regardless of additional barriers or their ability to complete the Cognassist assessment. By linking barriers to relevant adjustments automatically, this update helps streamline the process of identifying support while maintaining clear, Ofsted-ready documentation for every learner.